They're big, they're bad, and they're technically extinct. So what if we brought them back? Let us take a look at the science behind one of the most requested extinct animals to be de-extincted, the dire wolf. Hi, it's me, and this is Life Noggin. The dire wolf, also known as Canis dirus, is a prehistoric predator that lived in North and South America during the late Pleistocene until its extinction around 10,000 years ago. Although called a wolf, the dire wolf wasn't actually a true wolf, but rather a large protowolf-like creature. It was larger and more robust than modern gray wolves, and had shorter, stronger legs, a longer body, and a larger skull. Dire wolves probably didn't live in packs like gray wolves do today, and instead hunted larger prey. They preferred open grasslands and avoided dense forests. Fossils tell us that the average adult weighed about 180 pounds and stood about 3 feet tall at the shoulder. For comparison, a gray wolf stands about 2 feet tall at the shoulder and weighs between 75 and 175 pounds. Okay, so now that we know what the dire wolf was, let's talk about when it went extinct. So why did the dire wolf go extinct? Like many other Ice Age animals, it disappeared around 10,000 years ago at the end of the last Ice Age. This could have been caused by a combination of factors such as climate change, loss of prey, and competition with other predators like saber-toothed cats and early humans. And as far as we know, the dire wolf went extinct in both North and South America around the same time. Next up, let's talk about when the dire wolf was rediscovered. In the early 1900s, thousands of dire wolf fossils were discovered, especially at the Brea Tar Pits in Los Angeles, California. More recently, scientists were able to extract and sequence the genome of the dire wolf, thanks to a few well-preserved specimens. So now that we know more about when it went extinct and when it was rediscovered, let's move on to how it might be brought back. But first, I'd like to give a shout-out to this week's Fossil Friday winner. Thank you for being an awesome supporter and for your incredible fossil photos. To all my viewers, make sure to check out our social media to learn how you can enter to win a 25 gift certificate. Alright, now back to de-extinction. If you're new to the idea of de-extinction, don't worry, we've got you covered. We've made an entire playlist on the subject that's linked in the description below. But to sum it up, de-extinction is the process of bringing back a species that has gone extinct. There are 3 main ways to go about doing this. The first method is cloning. This is what most people think of when they hear the word de-extinction. This is the method used in Jurassic Park, where scientists extract DNA from a dinosaur, fill in the gaps using frog DNA, and then clone the dinosaur. Unfortunately, this method won't work for the dire wolf, because we get usable DNA from preserved tissue. The second method is using CRISPR to edit genes in living animals to make them more like the extinct animal. This is known as gene editing or gene-drive de-extinction. However, this method is still a long way off, since we don't fully understand genomes yet, and we have unedited the genes of any extinct animals. The third method is selective breeding. This is when you breed 2 animals together that have traits from the extinct species, and over time you select for those traits so that they become more pronounced. This method is used with some success in the hopes of bringing back the passenger pigeon. So while there are some methods that could potentially bring the dire wolf back, none are without their challenges. So now that we know how it might be brought back, let's talk about if we should. After all, it's an extinct animal, so it's not hurting anything by bringing it back, right? Well, it depends. A 2018 study found that the dire wolf had a negative carbon footprint, meaning that overall they helped the environment. However, they also may have suffered from the environmental changes at the end of the Ice Age. So while they may have benefited the environment, they also may have been unhappy. And reintroducing them into the environment could cause a bunch of problems. So is it worth it? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, let's talk about where the dire wolf would live. According to a 2023 study, much of the western United States today would have been suitable dire wolf habitat. In particular, the researchers cited areas in Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and Utah as places where the dire wolf could thrive. Additionally, there are similar ecosystems in Argentina that could support a population of dire wolves. But even though these areas are similar, it doesn't mean that the dire wolves would be happy there. They'd essentially be introduced to a new ecosystem where they'd be the top predator. In order to survive, they'd need to adapt to new prey and predators, and would have the knowledge of the area that an animal born and raised there would have. And last, but certainly not least, let's talk about when we could see the dire wolf roaming the earth once again. While the recent discoveries about the dire wolf are exciting, it'll be a while before they roam the earth again. First, we have to find well-preserved DNA, and then we have to figure out the best method for bringing them back. Then we have to consider the ethical issues and ecological implications, and finally decide if we want to bring them back or not. So while it might seem like the dire wolf is making a comeback soon, we have a lot to consider first. Dire wolves are just one example of an extinct animal that we may one day bring back. In fact, there are tons of animals that fall into this category, from passenger pigeons to woolly mammoths. These animals have all gone extinct within the last 10,000 years, which means that we could potentially bring them back using the DNA that still exists in museums and universities. However, this is easier said than done. As we mentioned earlier, scientists are still working on figuring out the best way to bring an extinct animal back. And even when they do, there are ethical and ecological concerns to consider. So what do you think? Should we bring back extinct animals? Which extinct animal would you like to see brought back? And why? Let us know in the comments below. Speaking of bringing them back, we have a quiz about this very topic on our website. Check it out to learn more about extinct animals that could be brought back. And while you're there, make sure to enter your email address to get updates on future quizzes and polls. Now for some fun, check out our social media to see some bloopers from this episode. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. This is me. This has been Life Noggin. Don't forget to keep on thinking.